Hey again, guys. Do you know what I like to do when I need to get a bad taste out of my mouth? I like to look at some baseball cards. Man, my last video where I was looking around eBay, I left a bad taste in my mouth. So let's look at some cards. I have a combination here of some new cards, a few I just picked up, and I thought I would go back and show some old cards that I haven't shown in a long time. Just grabbed a sampling of things. First, I want to give a congratulations. I had pulled this earlier in the year. I think I filmed it, but pulled this Coco Gauff. Need to give her a congrats. I went and watched her in Charleston play. What was that? A year or two ago. I will start with some older stuff. First, when I was young, and I've shown you this book before, got this book as a little kid. It's a fantastic book. And when you go through here, you know, it tells you a lot about collecting, a lot about the old cards, and it shows some rare cards. And some what they thought were more rare than they were at the time. And anyway, this is what it looks like. So, of course, I ended up getting every single one of these cards. This was the first time I ever saw the Johnny Pro Mike Schmidt. I'm going to show you a Granny Goose from the following year, but there's a Ricky Henderson in this one. I have that set. And over here, in particular, you have this Boog Powell. At one time was thought to be a rare card. It's I don't know if it's a short printed super, but it wasn't as readily available. So of course, I had to get that one. And I showed you the Maury Wills not so long ago on a video. And this is a postcard of Mickey Mantle. And of course, I had to get that. I don't have my Mike Schmidt out to show, and of course that was always one of the big cards in the hobby when I was growing up and for years. And I got this one as a little kid. Still have that. And you know what? I take that back. I do not have. This is the Yankees version. This is a really tough card. I would love to add that. If you're not familiar with it, that's a tough short print where they had them with the Yankees. I guess a corrected error rather. So I still like to look through this book and look back on it. I remember chasing the Bump Wills. You had to have both of them back then. And this was out right when there was Fernando Mania. But there's some cool stuff in here, and they throw in some football cards in the back. Well, we have these two. I guess this was published in 81, because that's the last year the cards are in here. Or 82, because they have the traded set. And of course, this was a big card we chased at the time. Not necessarily because it was a rookie card, but because Hubie Brooks and Mookie Wilson were big prospects at the time. We all wanted their cards. And we have the San Diego Fun Center cards. They made those 2 years. I have the one complete set with the Ozzie Smith rookie. And then they, I don't know. I don't know if I could call it a rookie. I might get in trouble. I might get arrested by the rookie police. But and then they made the following year one. I do not have the following year. And then, of course, on here was the first time I saw this Reggie Jackson, which always stood out to me because, of course, he played his entire season in 1976 for the Orioles, but Topps did not make him a card with the Orioles. So this is a card, and I do have this too, that I believe is the only card made in 1976 that showed him in an Orioles uniform. Now, they do have the Crane disc, I believe it is. I have it on my wall. It's taped, so I don't want to take it down. They had two versions, like the Isleys still shows him with the A's, but I think it's the Crane version that shows him with the Orioles. However, they don't have licensing, so he's not in an Orioles uniform. So I think that is the only card that shows him in an Orioles uniform in 1976. We don't count the score that came out after he retired and stuff like that. At least I don't. So there you go with that. I put out a couple cards that I like. Number one, this is always my favorite, Barry Bonds rookie card. And when I sent it in for grading, which I don't do a whole lot of, but this was so sharp, so I was glad when it came back at 10. But the classic, just love this card. Not really that into grading, but I just love this card so much, and it was so perfect that if it didn't come back at 10, I would question everything I knew about cards, to be honest. All right, this is the Granny Goose, Ricky Henderson, and this one's still intact down here. Granny Goose potato chips. And like I said, this is his second year in this set. That other set I showed you is the first one. I think it's a rookie card. I think that's 1980 and this is 81 if I'm not mistaken. I need to look. I need to go look again. But I have that one put away. I love this. These came out in 82. These Cracker Jack cards, and this one's signed by Bob Feller. But these were really cool cards. When you were a little kid and it had all the great players, there's a great Ralph Kiner in here. Of course, growing up in Pittsburgh, he was one of those players I would buy anything I saw of him. I have this 1981 Jack Lambert, and this card is special to me because it is a blank back. Now, Topps would, make these errors on occasion. And from my experience, the blank backs that are the most common that I had growing up, that I pulled from packs myself, were 1978 and 1979. Those seem to be the easiest to find the blank back versions, or they seem to be common in those years for whatever reason. To go back into the 60s or 70s and find these is tough. You don't see a whole lot of them. And I think 1989, they had a bunch of blank backs too. I have some from that year. But just through my experience, I don't know the pop counts or anything like that. Just through my experience, the 78, 79 seem to be the most common in the 89. And I have this Tetley. I got this in 1990. I put it in one of these cases, and I kept it there ever since. And it is the Tetley T-Discs of Ken Griffey Jr. and Wade Boggs. So I've had this for a few decades now, in this same thing. Back in the day, we used to love these and you couldn't get the half inch. You had to get the full inch because it gives it that museum quality. And speaking of museum quality, I had just made a video saying how I was burned out and I haven't been buying anything, and I've been buying a few things here and there, but nothing big. And I have to tell you, my burnout didn't last a day because in the last 2 days, I ended up picking up 4 new sets for my goal of getting one card set for every. Well, one's kind of questionable if it's a card. It's a team set. My man Stukes turned me on to. Scott, I had to get a card from that set. And then I got 3 rare cards. I mean, really, 2 of them are really rare. And 1 is near impossible. And it's extra special because it comes with something. Well, I'm going to do videos on them, but it's like a piece for my museum. I highly doubt you've ever seen one before, and I'd like to introduce you to it. So I'll be showing those as they come in. The other one is an obscure card that this particular card, PSA has never even graded one. And I think oftentimes people don't realize what it is too, but I will show you. I'll be showing in the coming week, probably, maybe a little longer. Okay, I got some modern cards. Now, guys, I collect modern. Lou Rock always jokes around because when he came to my room and came to check out my collection, He couldn't believe all the modern I had around because he didn't realize that I collected modern cards, but I do. I really don't do a lot of videos on modern cards because what can I teach you about modern cards that you don't already know? You're buying them along with me. The old vintage cards, that's where more knowledge is needed. I mean, granted, I don't know much about the modern cards when it comes to checklisting and the short prints. I mean, every year, there are so many variations, short print. Nobody could know all that. Nobody. So I don't even try. I mean, it's so overwhelming that I truly don't even try. I just buy the cards I like. I'll buy packs or boxes here and there. But I don't even try to keep up with all that stuff. If I happen to see, a short print on eBay or somebody talking about one and I want it, I'll just go seek it. But beyond that, I am by no means a modern card expert. But that said, I do now I've fallen in love with refractors, man. And I've fallen in love with the disco prisms. I always talk about those. But I just love these refractors. As Peppino would say, they're so shiny. So I got this thing. I can't quit looking at it. It's like so. I got these sepia toned Mookie Betts. It's like hypnotizing, man. It's so shiny. It's amazing looking. Sure, the video doesn't do it justice, actually. But who's going to win the MVP? Mookie or Acuna? My guess is Acuna. I mean, Acuna, if you throw, the batting averages are so off. Acuna in his favor. And the stolen bases in his favor. I think it's got to be Acuna this year. But what do you guys think? Mookie or Acuna in the National League? I got this, just a chrome refractor. Really cool card. And I got this, I guess it's a prism. I think it's called a prism. I don't know. You guys can educate me. Learn me something. My dad used to tell me, I'm going to learn you something. Sometimes it's fun to misuse grammar intentionally. And I got this, what is this? Mojo refractor. And, the modern, I picked up some of this guy, Corbin Carroll. And I love the Sports Illustrated for kids cards. Always have. I remember, the first big one I remember was Tiger Woods rookie card. So I have two of those. And when LeBron James came up in his, what was the school he went to? St. Vincent? He was in his high school uniform. And I bought a whole bunch of those. I had them graded at SGC in my, with one of my first two ever grading submissions. So I have several of those. But I would always buy the Sports Illustrated for kids cards, especially for like golfers, tennis players, gymnasts, those kinds of things, because you couldn't get their cards. You could get other tennis cards, but more common, more in the Sports Illustrated for kids. So these things are still dear to my heart. I still love them, and I collect them, and I subscribe, and I should subscribe to two of them in case. Sometimes they come a little dinged up or something. But, back to my point, Corbin Carroll is in this. And don't tell Victor that I said this, but it's a rookie card. And it's next to Messi there. There's also a Zhang. Zhang, yeah. If you're into golf. But you got Messi and, don't tell Victor. Corbin Carroll, rookie card. So I got this first Bowman. And I don't know what's going on with the post office in the last year or so, but I have another version of this. It's like a red, white, striped. And it says it was delivered 3 days ago. And it was not. And I had another one recently that said it was delivered, and it wasn't for like, I didn't get it for like 2 or 3 weeks after they said it was delivered. And this has been going on for like a year. It'll say it's delivered, and it pops up the next day. Now that one I understand, because that means that my mail lady forgot to drop it off, and she scanned it after the fact and delivered it the next day. But what I don't get is when it says it's delivered and I get it a week or 2 or 3 later. That's just ridiculous. So I don't know if it's coming or not. They say it's delivered, it ain't delivered. I'm sure you guys are having that issue. And the when you go onto eBay, the EU number, the one that starts with an E, if it's shipped that method, and I don't even know what that is, but when it's shipped that method, it'll look like the card hasn't moved, hasn't left, still at the original destination, and it'll just pop up in your mailbox. It's so inaccurate. I got this paper version, and then I got another Mojo. Man, I love me some refractors. If loving refractors is wrong, I don't want to be right. Hey guys, thanks for watching.